I don't know if Daryl's told you this, but the first few times I got on the calls with Daryl, it was just like collision, and I loved it because I was like, well, why don't we do this? And he was like, you need to do this. And he like just beat me into submission. I'm like, all right, I'll do it. And it was great because I'm like, my God, this type of straight line thinking is what I need. It's not like, before it was like, hey, you could try this, you could try this. And they gave me a ton of great ideas and they were very connected, nice people. But it wasn't like, Jake, until you master this, until you know your offer, until you have a master headline, until you know what the heck you're doing, you have no business doing any of that. And it was just kind of that like step by like straight line thinking of like, all right, you're focusing on so many things, but out of the 80-20, this is how we're going to apply it. And so, that alone has, doubled, tripled my business. And so it's like, okay, let's do it. That's why I'm like, all right, less is more, just focus on a few things, then we can go from there. I'm seeing growth. So now I'm like, okay, wait a second. Like, it's not as scary as I thought it was. Like that money that I put down, I'm seeing a return. I am growing. When I did like 1-2 things that like decently key things within that pipe, I started seeing change. I'm like, whoa, wow, this is pretty cool. And I was blown away. And that was kind of the aha moment. It was like, wow, okay, truly less is more. Like I actually do not have to spend that much money. Like, or, I don't have to go all in and use all this faith and just, I just need to be tactical and understand the few things to work on. I'm having, great growth this month. I'm trying to top that and go, keep going higher and higher. But the cool thing is now I have like a process, even with the other trainings that I was doing. It didn't feel like there was a graduated step by step. Like now I know what to do, like honestly, I still, when you talk about like the entrepreneurial thing, I still wake up in the morning almost every day. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do today? Like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. Right. And then I like take a breath. I'm like, the campaign compass. And it guides me home every time. It really does. I'm like, okay, now I know what I have to do. I have an ocean of things that I could do, but if I only do this one thing today, I'm going to make more money. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. So like, it's such a challenge even to fill that out. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes, right? But it's like, no, if you just do it and figure out what are my numbers, what do I need to be, where are my goals and where am I off? The other thing is I'm like sold out of some product. And now I'm like, all right, well, now I got to figure out how I'm gonna get some capital to invest in a lot more. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this, but we'll figure it out, like it will come. It gives me some goals and clarity. And I'm like, oh, this is not that bad. Like I actually can do this. And it gives me some encouragement of like, all right, now it's not that stressful, right? Because I know it's not some pie in the sky thing. Before it was like, oh man, everybody on YouTube, they're making it seem like everybody's drop shipping $1 million a month. And I'm over here like struggling, working my butt off for just a couple $1,000s. I'm like, this is just the worst. And now I'm like, oh, well, it's actually not that difficult. If I just do X, Y, and Z, and I know where to go and what to do, it's a lot more encouraging. And I'm able to work, take the weekends off, do things a little bit more sustainable, take a break through the day, go on a walk, hang out with a friend, rather than like, I always got to be working. I always got to be doing something. It's like, well, wait a second. All I got to do is, really 5 things. And then if I get those 5 things, everything else is a cherry on top. So it's exactly what you're saying. It has made it more, sustainable and enjoyable and giving me a lot more mental space to think. I felt like I didn't have anybody I could really trust that's been through this before that knew what to do. There's so many people out there that are like, hey, we can run your Facebook ads, or hey, we can build a landing page for you. Hey, we can create systems for you. But there's like not really that voice or reason of like, hey, this is how you build an actual e-commerce business. I'm like, oh my God, I'm paying everybody money to figure out how to do these things and everything's falling apart. So I just didn't know what to focus on, what was important as a e-commerce business owner. That's where I wanted to be, not just this guy who created this product or, just focus on one aspect. I'm like, I wanted to not just learn how to run ads, but run a business in e-commerce. And so I just was like, listen, I need a formula, somebody who's been there in the past that knows what they're doing. One thing that I've just been truly impressed by is like my mind is so much more opened up to be able to focus on the core things that I need. And it works. Like it actually works when you just remove, some of those things. And so it's like I just tweaked the offer and it was like boom, huge increase. I'm like, oh my God, what if I actually got good at learning how to make an offer? Like we think, oh, man, I know what my offer is. I threw it together in a weekend. It's like, oh man, I'm always now starting to really, I'm in the offer business, right? Like that's the 80/20, right? Is understanding that. And so it's so common because, people are really good at selling all these services and they're great at presenting their offer, but how can we really present my offer? And so it was like, how can I get what's in my mind on paper in an easy way that I can replicate and just always refer back to for all these different things that I can just, oh yeah, I forgot it's this, or because every time I would do it, I would forget certain points or I wouldn't bring something up because I was always, it was always in the back of my mind, I know what my offer is, but it wasn't in a way that I could even refer back to or really have it crystal clear and have like a super sharp knife to throw. It was always a different knife, or I'm throwing a spoon today, or I'm throwing a piece of paper tomorrow, like throwing a cup tomorrow, the next day. It wasn't never just like, all right, it's this knife, let's refine it. Now it's a sharper knife. Like now I'm throwing a samurai sword. It was always like whatever I woke up that morning thinking my offer was. So I don't come a family from entrepreneurs. Like I've never built an e-commerce store before. I don't even know anybody who's ever done this personally. We're taught and we're grown up and we're said, hey, in order to be successful, you work hard. And there's truth to that, but you need to make sure you're working hard on the right things. And we think the harder we work, the more successful we'll be. And that's just not true at all. Like in my mind, I started really changing my circles of people I was spending my time with and where I was investing my money. And I was like, all right, well, in order to provide the type of value I want to provide in my life, create the type of value, serve people, make money and live the lifestyle I want to do. And, move from being an employee to, business owner and just, create more value and just, do things that I feel like are more in my strengths and, be more of a creative person, a leader and everything. I'm like, well, there's only one way to really do that. And so I'm like, all right, I know it, I have to do this. I know I have to go all in because what's my alternative? Live the life I've been living. And I'm like, I literally can't. Like that feels like death. For Good Profits has really helped me understand how to communicate in a way that would be valuable without coming off clickbaity. Because a lot of people are like, hey man, this is how you like do this. It's like all clickbait, it's really cheap and gaudy. And it's like, my God, that really does attract a customer I don't want long term. Like that is not somebody that like, that's not even the type of person I want to serve. That's not even the type of person I want to hang out with. And like now the type of people that I'm talking to on Instagram, I got people messaging to me and I'm like, wow, these are cool people. Like I actually like these people. I actually want to serve these people. Like I actually want to sell you something because I believe I'm helping you. Not somebody that's going to buy it and freak out on you. I've actually recommended the group to a couple of my friends and, they're trying to build some things as well. And so if you're looking to solve the problems that I've had is just, you need to, what is the end result that you want? What are you trying to do? And then like, how can you cut that scope to be more efficient and focus on what's actually needed? Because we're all focusing on waste. We're all doing so many wasteful things. Like what we're doing is just, you need to focus on the right things and master those things. And that's something that I'm thankful that, Daryl, the team, the content and going through the programs really helped me is just like, hey, you only need to really understand these things. Like as an e-commerce business owner, there you actually can. And I knew it. And I knew it. I knew that people could do certain things. I'm like, how can you actually do that and run a business without having control over things? You just need to know your fundamentals. You just need to, know certain levels. You need to know these things. And so, what is it that you want, and focus on the things that matter. And, For Good Process has helped me really solve both those things. So yeah, man, like it's totally legit. Like, just check out the results that other people have gotten. And there's people that are, you don't have to be the most gifted or, you just got to be able to commit. I feel like it is a blessing to be here and I'm getting so much out of it. I'm so thankful that you guys even offer the service. I'm like, this is a blessing to me. So I'm the one who's blessed and I just want to say thank you.